graph data structure means, say for example, you can able to consider the airlines here. So in case of airlines, the cities are connected through airlines. So this can be represented through a graph structure. Okay. So the airports are represented by solid dots and the airlines are by solid lines between the dots. So you'll see how exactly the graph structure will be represented through the example in the next slide here. This is the one of the real world problem. Suppose if you consider the flowchart of a program, this flowchart of a program is in fact the graphical representation of an algorithm of a given problem here. So that is also one of the examples over there. And also here we have given a few more examples here. Graphs can also be used to represent the networks here. So the networks may include the paths in a city or telephone network or in any circuit switched network over there. And it's also possible to use the graphs in the social network like LinkedIn, Facebook. Say for example, in case of Facebook, each person is represented with a vertex or a node. The graph can be defined like this. A graph, okay, is generally denoted by using the symbol, say G. Symbol G. Actually, this graph G consisting of two sets. Okay, we have a set, a finite set of vertices is also called as a nodes. Okay, so the vertices is the another name for the nodes, and it also sometimes called as points. It has this graph as another finite set of ordered pairs of the form ordered pair. It is of the form u comma v. This is called as an edge. Actually, this is the path from the one node to the another node. Okay. So here the pair is ordered. In case of the graph data structure, the pair is ordered because say u comma v is not similar to the v comma u. Okay, because we may be using a directed graph or the undirected graph depending upon the type of the graphs. Okay, so this cannot be the same. So the pair u comma v indicate that there is an edge from the vertex u to the v. If I write anything, say for example, if I write I comma say j like this, means that it shows that there is an edge from the vertex I to j. Vertex in the sense that is nothing but node to j. Say for example, I have a node I and I have a node j here. So I comma j represents that there is an edge from the node I to the j. This is an example of the graph. As I told, the graph G is represented by using a this symbolic form, that is G is equal to v comma e, where v is the set of vertices and e is nothing but the set of edges. If you look at this example here, I have a nodes. Okay, so they are labeled as an A, B, C, D, and as well as E. Okay, so that this particular graph has 5 vertices and as well as the 6 edges. Okay, so this graph can be represented by using the set, two sets. One is nothing but the set which made up of the nodes and another set made up of the edges. So they can be written as v is equal to a comma b comma c comma d. This shows that this particular graph has a following vertices. So a, b, c, d, and this e, the set e, indicates that okay, these are the edge which belongs to the the given example. So here have a comma b means that it indicates that there is an edge from the node A to the node B. Okay, so you can able to see this path here. And second one is nothing but second pair is nothing but a comma c. So that this indicates that there is an edge from the A to C and so on here. So we can able to represent all the edges by making the pairs of vertices for there. Okay, some of the graph terminology, there are no standard graph terminologies for this terminology used in the graph. Okay, so that still we have some of the terminologies, we have to remember those. Okay, vertex, as I have told that vertex, it is an individual data element of a graph and is also known as a node here. Okay, in the previous example, we have shown that A, B, C, D and E are known as an vertices. And edge is nothing but a link which is connected, which is used to connect any two nodes in the given graph here. Okay, so this edge is also known by another name that is called as an arc. So what exactly you must follow the following rules for representing the edge here. An edge is represented as starting vertex followed by the ending vertex. Say for example, if you are writing I comma j here, okay, so this indicate that okay the edge is starting from I and it is going to end at the j here. This is the notation we must follow to represent the edges in the graph. So there are three types of edges. One is nothing but undirected edge. Second one is nothing but directed edge, and another one is nothing but weighted edge. Say for example, I have a graph A, B, C like this. If they are connected this way here, so that there is no direction which is shown in the figure here. Okay, this is an example for what the undirected edge here. Okay, so if you look at the directed edge, okay, so in case of directed edge, we are going to have a unidirectional edge, mean that there is an edge which is origin from one node and which is going to terminate at the another end. Say for example, if you look at the following diagram A, B, and as well the C, if you look at this, okay, I am going to write the arrow mark for the sum of this here. Okay, this is an example for the directed edge here. Say for example, if I write A comma B here in this case, means that this is nothing but a directed edge which is origin at A and going to the node B. Similarly, the all possible directed edge in this given examples are nothing but A to B, and we have A to C, and we have a B to C. Okay, there are no edges from C to A or C to B or B to A and so on. And next we have a weighted edge here. For each and every edge, the weight is assigned over there. The weight may represent the sum parameters over there. It may be a distance or it may be a cost. Say for example, in this particular graph, if I say 5, 6 and 7, if you write like this, okay, 5 is the weight of 5 is nothing but the weight of the edge A comma B. Similarly, 6 is nothing but the weight of the edge A comma C and so on here. Okay, this 5, 6 it may be a propagation delay or it may be a distance between the two nodes or something else. So this weight may be represented by the different metrics over there. So next we have undirected graphs. As I already told that undirected graph, a graph with only undirected edges said to be undirected graph. If you look at this one, this is an example of the undirected graph. Next terminology is nothing but directed graph. A graph with only directed edges is said to be directed graph here. I just convert this undirected graph into the directed graph here. Say here, I am going to put an directed edge over here. Okay, now this is the example for the directed graph. Okay, so we have a directed edges. It is always the direction should be unilateral. Okay. So next we have a mixed graph. A graph with undirected and directed edges is said to be a mixed graph here. Mean that particular graph is made up of so both the directed edge and as well as the undirected edge. Say for example, if you look at this one. This is an example for mixed the graph here. This is now because A comma B, the head A comma B is nothing but undirected now, and also the head D comma E is also an undirected. The rest of the edges, that is nothing but A comma C and D comma C and A comma D. And one more is there, we have B comma D is also undirected edge. That is nothing but B comma D. These three are undirected edge. And we have a B comma E here. E comma D. Okay. So these are all nothing but the directed edges. Okay, so these are the difference between undirected, directed and mixed graph. Undirected means what? So we have only the undirected edges, and directed means we have a directed edges which are used to connect the one node to the another node, and mixed it is a combination both undirected edge and as well the directed edge. So end vertices are endpoints here. So as you know that the edges are those which are used to connect the two nodes. The two vertices joined by an edge are called as an end vertices are the edge of the graph. Next we have an origin. Okay, if an edge is directed, its first endpoint is said to be an origin of it. If you look at this example here, okay, this is an example for the directed graph here. Okay, so here origin in the sense that, say, if you look at the edge A comma B here, this is the directed edge here. So that if edge is directed, its first endpoint is said to be the origin, mean that this is the origin. Okay. Next we have a destination. Okay, this origin and destination terminologies are related to only directed graphs over there. Okay, if an edge is directed, the first endpoint is said to be origin of it, and the other endpoint is said to be the destination of edge. If you have taken the example of the same edge, that is A comma B here, so that this is called as a destination over there. And the next terminology is nothing but an adjacent. Okay. Suppose if there is an edge between vertices A and B, then both A and B are said to be adjacent. Okay, so mean that if you take the any vertices, say X, okay, so the nodes which are neighbors of this, neighbors of X, immediate neighbors, we call it as an immediate neighbors. Immediate neighbors of X are said to be adjacent nodes. Okay. Say for example, in these examples here, if I take then the adjacent nodes of A are nothing but B and as well as C. But see, D cannot be taken over there because D, since it is a directed graph here, you cannot able to reach. So D directly from A here. That's what the adjacent of A are nothing but B and as well as C only. Similarly, if you look at the D here, the node, the adjacent of D are nothing but D itself again because of this, and also we have a E and as well the E and as well the A. Okay, E and A are nothing but the adjacent nodes of the vertex D. Similarly, outgoing M, these are all self-explanatory. Okay, so a directed edge is said to be outgoing edge on its origin vertex. Suppose if you look at the A here, the edge A comma B, okay, here is nothing but an outgoing edge at A. Okay, and this is going to become the incoming edge at B here. Okay, so then degree represents the total number of edges connected to a vertex is said to be degree of that particular vertex. It all depends upon that, depends upon the type of the graph which we are going to use. Say for example, if you look at the B here example, what is the degree of B here in this case? The degree of B is nothing but 3 here in this case. We don't consider whether it's undirected or undirected. If it is an undirected graph, so the B is going to have a degree 3. But if it is an directed graph, it is going to have a degree depending upon the outgoing edge or the incoming edge. Let us see here the in degree here. What exactly that the definition for the in degree will be like this: the total number of incoming edges connected to a vertex is said to be the in degree of that vertex. Say for example, I have a node. I have a node here in this case, that is nothing but an D here. Okay, what is the in degree of this node D here? Okay, in degree of node here means we have a self loop here, that is a 1 degree, and we have a incoming edge from the C and also from V. Now the degree of the node D is nothing but the 3. In degree is nothing but 3 here. Okay, ID in degree is nothing but 3. Similarly, out degree, it represents the total number of outgoing edges connected to a vertex here. Okay, say for example, I wanted to find the out degree of the vertex A here. The out degree of vertex A is nothing but 1, that is nothing but the one edge which is going to B and another edge is going to C. That is nothing but the 2 1. Okay. Next, we have a parallel edges or multiple edges. Okay, what exactly mean by a parallel edges? Okay, say for example, if there are two undirected edges to have the same end vertices, and for two directed edges to have the same origin and the same destination, so the such edges are called as an parallel edges. Let us see here. I have a edge from A to C. I can able to have a one more edge which is originating at E and it is terminating at C, so that this A and C, the vertices are having a two parallel edges. Okay, multiple edges also possible, you can able to have it. This is the one of the example for the parallel edges. Suppose if you consider the undirected graph, okay, so you can able to have a the edge between the any vertices this way also. Okay, so that this is an example for A comma B and A comma C. These are all the example for the parallel edges. Okay, these are nothing but the parallel edges. Okay. Next, we have a self loop over there. Okay. Okay, self loop means an edge is a self loop if its two endpoints are coincide here. Okay, it may be, say if you look at this one D here. Okay, so that the edge is originating at D and it is ending at D itself. Okay, this is an example for the self loop here. Okay. And another terminology we are using in the graph theory is nothing but simple graph. A graph is said to be simple if there are no parallel and self loop edges over there. But whatever the diagram example which I have shown, this is not the simple graph. Why this is not the simple graph? Because it has a self loop. Say for example, have A, B and as well as the D here. It may be directed or undirected. This is an example for the simple loop here, because this particular example doesn't have any self loops or any parallel edges over there. Next, we have a path. A path is a sequence of alternating vertices and edges that starts at a vertex and ends at a vertex. Say for example, sometimes you may be asked to find the path from one node to the source node to the destination node here. Say for example, I wanted to find the path from A to D. So this can be written as A to B, B to C here. It may have a multiple path also here. Okay, it is nothing but the combination of what vertices and as well as the edges. Okay, next is how you can able to represent the graph data structures here. A graph can be represented in many ways. Some of these representations are given as follows here. The first one is nothing but adjacency matrix, second one is nothing but incidence matrix, and third one is nothing but adjacency list. Let's see how the given graph data structure can be represented in the adjacency matrix form, incidence matrix form, and as well as the adjacency list over there. So let us consider the first one here. Here the matrix is nothing but the 2D array, two-dimensional array, which has a size v comma v, where v is nothing but the total number of vertices in the given graph over there. Okay, let us assume that the given adjacent array is adj of a. Okay, this is used to represent the adjacency matrix of the given graph here. And suppose if you write like this, adj I comma g is equal to indicate that there is an edge from I to j here. There is an edge from I to j. That is edge from vertex I to vertex j. Okay. So adjacency matrix for an undirected graph is always an symmetric. Okay. So if you look at if you consider the undirected match, so the graph is always symmetric. You'll see later through the example here. And your adjacency matrix is also used to represent weighted graphs. Okay. So weighted graph means okay. So as I told that the weight can be any matrix over there. It can be a cost, or it can be a distance, or it can be a propagation delay. Okay, which delay with propagation delay and so on like this. Okay, so that It is also possible to have an weight in the given adjacency matrix also. Let us consider this, how we can able to represent this graph in the adjacency matrix here. So this particular graph has an 5 vertex A, B, C, D and as well the E. The equivalent adjacency matrix can be written over there here. Okay, as I told, it has a matrix, the dimension of which is nothing but V cross V. Okay, where V is nothing but the number of vertices here. The number of vertices here in this case is nothing but 5. So that this is 5 cross 5 matrix here. Okay, so here the rows and columns are represented and they are labeled as an what? Labeled by using the vertices. I have vertice A, B, C, D, E and A, B, C here. Okay, just I am going to find the what value needs to be stored in a specific location in the two-dimensional array over there. Okay, so in this representation here, if 0 is there, if the 0 is there in any of the location, it understood that okay, there is no edge from the given source vertices to the vertex to the destination vertex. If you look at here A to A, if you look at the A, which are the edges, we just find out the edges from A which are connected to the other edges. Say for example, there is no edge from A to A itself. Okay, this is absent in this case, so that this is represented as a 0. And let us find whether there is an edge between the A and B. Yes, there is an edge between the vertex A and the B, so that this has to be 1 here. There is an edge from A to C also, and there is an edge from A to D also 1, but there is no edge from A to E, so that this element becomes 0. In the same way, find out the edges, the neighbors of B. I can say that the neighbors of B are nothing but A, D and as well the E. A, D and as well the E. So there is no edge between the B and B and as well the B and C. Similarly, if you look at the C here, neighbors of C are nothing but A and D. So that A and as well the D here. See, this way you can able to complete it. So if you are given a graph, okay, undirected graph, so this can be obtained, the adjacency matrix can be obtained in the following method. Suppose if you are given a directed graph here, this is an example of directed graph. How exactly you are going to obtain the adjacency matrix? Okay, you need to represent only the directed edge from a given node vertex to the destination vertex here. If you look at the A, I am going to look at the A only. So here, which are the neighboring nodes of A? I mean that A can able to reach B and as well the C, not D here. So that B and C, there is an edge from A to C. You can able to reach A to B. That there is a directed edge from A and as well as the A to C here. Similarly, from B here, okay, so you can able to, we have a directed edge from B to E and as well as the B to D. So that only these two elements should be 1 1 and the rest should be 0. And similarly, if you look at the C here, okay, we have a directed edges from only C to D here. Okay, so that only this element is 1 here and rest are 0. There are no directed edges from C to the rest of the vertices. Similarly, for D here, we have a directed edges to A, E and as well as the D here. So A, E, D. So they are shown over here. Similarly, for last one, there are no directed edge from E here, so that all the elements are 0. So this way we can able to represent the adjacency matrix for the directed graph. So next we have an incidence matrix. In case of incidence matrix, the graph can be represented using a matrix of size, total number of vertices by total number of edges. Okay, the size of the matrix is nothing but the total number of vertices by total number of edges. Total number of vertices by total number of E. That is V cross E is nothing but the size of the incidence matrix here. Okay, so suppose if you have, let us look at that. If we have a 4 vertices and 6 edges, so that we are going to have a 4 or 6 matrix in this case. Okay. So in this matrix, rows represent the vertices and columns we are going to or by using a columns you are going to represent the edges here. But whereas in case of the previous case, here both columns and vertices are represented by using the columns and rows are represented by using vertices only. Here we are going to use the vertices to represent the rows and columns to represent the edges. Okay, we are going to fill these matrix, okay, either with the 0 or with the 1 or with the -1 depending upon the following conditions. What are those conditions? The first condition is 0. If you are going to put a 0 means this represents the row edge is not connected to the column. If there are no edge between the specified node here, so that particular element is 0. If that element is 1 means it represents the row edge is connected as an outgoing edge to the column vertex. And -1 means represent the row edge is connected as an incoming edge. Okay. +1 and -1. This is used to identify whether it is an outgoing edge or the incoming edge of the column matrix. Let us consider this here, this example here. I have A, B, C, D, E. This is the graph. The A, B, C, D, E are nothing but the vertices, and the edges are represented as E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, and E8 here. And the complete incidence matrix for this directed graph is given like this here. As I told that, so the rows are represented by using vertices, whereas columns are represented by using the edges. So columns represent the edges and rows represents vertices here. Okay, so E1. Okay, so I wanted to find the E1. Okay, the first element which belongs to the first column, first row and first column is nothing but 1. What exactly it represents? It represents whether the edge outgoing, whether it is an incoming edge or the outgoing edge. Okay, this is the edge which is originated from A. Here it is an outgoing edge, so that this is represented as 1. Next I have a E2. E2 is also an outgoing edge. This is represented as 1. And if you look at the E3, E3 is nothing but an incoming edge for the vertex A, so that this is nothing but -1. But considering the E4, E5, E6, E7, 8, so though none of these edges are reaching the A, so that all these values will be the 0. Similarly, if you look at the B here, okay, so that E1 is nothing but the incoming edge, so that the element of this this location should be -1 here. And we do not have any connectivity between for the E2, E3 here, so that there is 0. And if you look at the E4, E4 is nothing but the outgoing edge, so that this element becomes 1. And E5 is 0 and E6 is also 1 here. This E6 is nothing but an outgoing edge here. So this way we can able to obtain the incidence matrix. So what you need to remember in this case means, okay, so the element becomes 0, which is used to represent the row edge which is not connected to a column vertex. Okay. 1 means it represents the row edge which is a outgoing edge. -1 means it is represent the row edge which is nothing but an incoming edge. Next is nothing but the adjacency list here. Okay, we have discussed about you have studied about the linked list and all those things. Here the graph can also be represented by making of the this list here. Okay, we are going to make some of the array of linked list to represent the given graph in this method here. The size of the array is equal to the size of the vertices. What is the size of the linked list array we are going to have is that is decided by the number of vertices which are present in the given array. Okay, suppose if the array be array of 5, okay, so we can able to represent this, identify the list like this. Suppose the entry array of 5 represent the linked list of vertices adjacent to ith vertex here. Okay, we will show the example for this, okay, in the next slide. So this representation can also be used to represent a weighted graph also. The weights of the edges can be stored in the nodes. Any kind of information which you want to store, those will be stored in the nodes. So this is the adjacency, the given example. Adjacency list for this example is written as like this. Okay, this is nothing but the array of list here. Okay, first I am going to consider the vertex A here. From the vertex A, I have a edges, directed edges from A to B and as well the A to C, so that this can be represented like this, B, comma C. Okay, so this whatever you are going to represent it here, you better to represent the typographical order here. Okay, you must follow the alphabetical order over there. Say for example, if you look at the A, okay, A has a directed to C and as well the D, so that it is wise to represent this one. A is connected to B first, then to C. And this is also correct, but if you are going to say for example, first you may be writing a C, after that you may be writing a B also, this may also correct, but you must follow the typographical order here, that means alphabetical order in this case. Okay, and similarly for the next edge, that is nothing but the B here. So the linked list will be represented like this. So we have a directed edge from B to D and the B to E, so that this is going to have the list like this, B to D and for D to E. Similarly for C, we have only one directed edge to D here, so that we can able to represent that list as an C to D here. Okay, and we have a D as an directed edge from D to A, D to E and as the D to E. So that is nothing but D to A to D and as the E. And E doesn't have any directed edge. This is nothing but an empty only. Okay. So this is nothing but the array of linked list. Okay. So this way we can able to represent the given graph in the form of a adjacency list. Okay, so these are some of the basic terminologies and how to represent the matrix in the different format. Okay, so next we have a graph traversal methods over there here. Okay, the graph traversal is nothing but one of the technique or method which is used for searching a particular vertex in a graph. If I have given a graph here, just sometimes I wanted to know whether that particular vertex is present in the graph or not. So that we can do by making the traversal method. So that graph traversal is also used to decide the order of the vertices to be visited in the search process. Meaning that say whether which node is visited, which node needs to be visited first and which node needs to be visited next. So okay, that can be decided by making of the graph traversals. Okay, a graph traversal finds the edge to be used in the search process without creating a loop. That means using a graph traversal, we visit all the vertices of the graph without getting into looping path here. Okay. So we don't require to cycle in the visiting the same the node again and again here. We are going to visit all the nodes without making any loops over there. So there are two graphs traversal techniques which are used for search visiting the nodes, are the search for searching the vertices. They are nothing but the DFS algorithm. Second one is nothing but the BFS algorithm. DFS stands for depth first search algorithm and BFS is nothing but breadth first search algorithm. These two are going to make of the different data structure for traversing method like the stacks and as the queues. We'll see the one by one. The first one is nothing but BFS algorithm. This is nothing but an breadth first search algorithm here. Suppose if I given an input graph which is of the form G is equal to V comma E, and we have a source vertex S from where we wanted to start searching the we wanted to start from the vertex S over there. Okay, so the breadth first search systematically traverses the edges of G to explore every vertex that is reachable from the S here. So mean that whatever may be the source vertex here. So from the source vertex, it is possible for us to reach all the nodes in the given graph here. So then we are going to examine all the vertices neighbor to the source vertex S. Then after that, then we traverse all the neighbors of the source. Means that first, if I are given a source vertex here, I am going to traverse to all the source neighbors. Okay. After that, I am going to traverse to the neighbors of these neighbors. Okay. One by one here. Okay. In order to do this breadth search first searching operations here, we are going to make the one more data structure, that is nothing but the queue data structures. Okay, this is used to keep the track of the progress of traversing of the neighboring nodes. Otherwise, what we will not, we are going to lose the track of visiting the neighboring nodes. These are the algorithmic steps for the BFS algorithm. That is nothing but the breadth first search algorithm. First means for this particular algorithm, so you supposed to input the vertices of the graph here. Okay, that is nothing but you need to input the vertices and as well the edges over there. Okay, so the given graph is nothing but G is equal to V comma E. Then after that, you supposed to input the source vertex. Okay, so which is going to be the origin or which is going to be the source vertex, that should also be inputted to the this algorithm. Then after that, what you have to do means you, for the first step, okay, in the third step, what you have to do, you had to push the source vertex to the queue here. Okay, so whatever the, say for example, if you have a vertex here A, B, C, D, E and so on like that. Suppose if you are going to treat D is the one of the vertex, source vertex, then first what you do means you want to write or push this one into the queue over there. Once it is pushed into the queue here, then you go and perform the steps 5 and 6 here. You go and perform the steps 5 and as well the 6 here. Okay, so what exactly you supposed to do in the step number 5 and step number 6? Pop the front element of the queue. Anyhow, you have the queue is going to have some elements all the times. Okay, so you pop out the front element of the queue and display, so indicating that it is visited here. Say for example, in this example I said D is nothing but the source vertex. I pushed this one into the queue here. You take out D and display it, indicating that D is visited over there. Then after that, find out the neighbors of this D here. Find out the neighbors of D and push all these neighbors into the queue if they are not already visited. If those nodes, if the neighbors of D are not yet visited, all those vertices should be pushed into the queue or should be written into the queue here, and repeat this till you reach or till you visit all the nodes. These are the steps which you are going to use to complete the BFS algorithm. Now let us consider the example of this particular example as the following nodes here. We have a nodes A, that is nothing but a vertex A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I. This is the vertex we are given. Okay, you are given a graph here and you supposed to have what is the source vertex in this case. Okay, so these are the vertex and this is the adjacent list. If you look at this one, you can able to write the adjacent list here, and next is you supposed to input the source vertex here. Okay, now so I am going to consider this A as an source input. I am going to consider A as a source vertex here in this case. Okay, so as the second step shows that you just push this source vertex into the queue here. Okay, I have two pointers in the queue, that is the front and rear. Now they are pointing to the same element. I pushed this A onto the step into the queue here. So next, in the next step, what you are doing is pop take out the first element in the queue here. Okay, take the first element in the queue and display it over there. Okay, so I have taken out A here. Okay, that is displayed here. A is taken out. This is displayed over here, indicating that okay, I have visited the vertex A here. Now you have to find out the directed edges from A to B. Which are the directed edges from the A to C here? I have a directed edge from A to B and actually A to C. It means that B and C are nothing but the neighbors of A here. So you had to push the neighbors of A in the alphabetical order into the queue here. Okay, have a B here, the B is pushed out here, and C have here, C is pushed into the queue here. Now this is the rear pointer which is pointing to the most recently element which is shifted into the queue here. Now front is going to pointing to this. In the next step, what you supposed to do means you supposed to take out the first element. Okay, so the element which is pointed by the front here. Okay, so mean that take out B and display it. That is done. so that when it is displayed, this is understood that the node B is visited here. Next step, what you have to do is you find out the neighbors of B. Which are the neighbors of B in this case? The neighbors of B are nothing but D, E, and as well as the C. Okay. So see here, neighbors of B must be pushed into the queue here. So that D, E, C we have. Before pushing, you have to see whether already some of the vertexes, some of the neighbors of B is already in the queue or not. If you look at the queue, I have a C in the queue. Okay, when the vertex C is already in the queue, you need not push the same vertex into the queue once again here. In this case, you're supposed to push only the D and as well as the E over there. So after pushing D and E, you will get these values over there. Okay. After pushing it, I displayed A, I displayed the B. I mean that I visited A and B, and this is my status of the queue here. So front is pointing to C and rear is pointing to E here. Okay. Now in the next step, what you have to do means you have to take out the front element, that is nothing but the which is pointed by front, so that you display it here. So that after displaying it, the front is pointing to D now. Now what you will do is you will find out the neighbors of D here. Okay, which are the neighbors of D here? The neighbors of D are nothing but G and as well as the only G we have here. Neighbors of yes. So remove the front element C. I have done it. Display it. Add the neighbors of vertices of C. C also done. Okay, this is we have to go ahead one more. Okay. I think I missed out one step here. Okay, fine. Okay, C is there. So one of the neighbors of element C of B is present in the queue. So C is not added here. C, D, E. This is the status here. Remove the front element C. So I displayed A, B, C and display it. Okay, that is done. Add the neighboring vertices of C. So the neighboring vertices of C. Sorry, I skipped out 1D before C here. Okay, neighboring vertices of C are nothing but, if you look at this one, E and as well as the F. These are the two here. So E and F. E is already there in the queue. No need to add once again here. Only F is need to be added to the queue. Okay, this is the status of the queue after adding the neighbors of the C here. Okay, next, in the next step, what you do is, okay, you take out the front element and display it here. Okay, remove the front element, that is D. This D is displayed over there. Then front is pointing to E here. Now what you do is, you just go and find the neighbors of E here. If you look at the neighbors of E here, the neighbors of E is nothing but D and as well as the F only. Okay, D and F. Okay, so neighbors of D, not the E. Neighbors of D are nothing but, okay, so that is nothing but G only. Only G needs to be entered over there. That is done over there. So again, repeat this same process over there. Take out the element E. So this is displayed over there. Then find out the neighbors of E here. The neighbors of E are nothing but, okay, the D and as well as the F over there, only two. Okay, D and you just find out whether D and F are already there in the queue or not. Okay, so D is already visited, no need to add it, and F is already there. Okay, no need to add any element. This is the status of the queue. We'll get it after displaying the E value. Okay, so next you go and take out the next element, that is nothing but then F. F is taken out, that is displayed over there. You find out the neighbors of F here. The neighbors of F is nothing but H only H. Okay, so that H is not there in the queue and is not visited. Okay, so that H is needs to be added to the queue here. Now it is added over there. Okay, this is the status of the queue after that. Then after that, go and display the next element which is pointed by front. Okay, now G is displayed over there. Now find out the neighbors of G here. The neighbors of G are nothing but E and as well as the only E. Okay, neighbors of G is nothing but only E only. E is already visited. Okay, so that no need to insert any element to the queue. Okay, now just increment the front pointer. This we are going to get it over there. Okay, next what you are doing is you need to take out the element and display it. Okay, H is taken out and displayed over there. Okay, find out the neighbors of H over there. The neighbors of H is nothing but E only. E is already visited over there. Okay, E is already visited, no need to insert any element. Okay, now that if you look at this one, okay, no element, no edges are left out, no vertices are left out here. We have visited all the nodes here. The order of visiting the nodes for this particular given algorithm by using the breadth first search algorithm is like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Okay, so this is the traversal output of the BFS algorithms for this given example here. Okay. So this is about the BFS. Next we have a DFS. Okay, this is going to perform the reverse of the BFS algorithm. Okay, depth first search. The name suggests that it is to search deeper in the graph. Okay, whenever it is possible, and you need to input the graph G is equal to V comma V and also the source in text. Okay, first we are going to visiting the starting node, then we travel through the each node along the path which begins at the given origin, that is nothing but the source only. So that we'll see these algorithm steps over there, and we are going to input the edges, and we are going to input the source vertex, and also you are going to assign to the some variable s. Okay, while writing the program is supposed to make it. And instead of the queues, we are going to make the stack here in this case. Okay, so we are going to push the source vertex onto the stack, and after that my algorithm will be repeatedly doing these fifth and sixth steps. Okay, till we visit all the nodes. Pop the top element of the stack and display it. Okay, whichever the element you push it onto the stack, you take out and display it. After that, you find out the neighbors of that element or that node, and you need to push all the element onto the stack. Let us consider the same example here. Okay, we are going to make represent this one by making of we are going to visit all the nodes by making of the DFS algorithm here. Okay, now let us start with the source index. I am going to use I as a source index here in this case. You can able to start, so you can be able to take the any node in this one, that is going to become the source node. Okay, so in this case I am going to take the I as a source vertex here or source node over there. What I want is I wanted to push the source node onto the stack here. Okay, when I push this source node onto the stack, my status of the stack will be high only. Okay, so now nothing is displayed here, still my output is empty only. Okay, this is the first step. Next, what you are doing is in the second step, you take out the element from the top of the stack here. Okay, pop and display the top element. How many elements I have on the stack? That is nothing but only one element. I am going to take high and then push all the neighbors of the popped element onto the stack. If not visited, okay, you just find out who are the neighbors of A. The neighbors of A are nothing but G and as well the H here. Neighbors of high is nothing but G and H. You push these two neighbors onto the stack here. Okay, stack is nothing but G and H. Okay, G, H. Okay, so here I am going to make use of a alphabetical order. Okay, so to push the element here, G and H. Okay, so I either both are neighbors to the I can able to push H first and also G first. Better to follow the alphabetical order. Okay, to push the elements. Okay, so G is pushed onto the stack first and H is pushed on the stack, and I already visited the node I, so that is displayed over here. In the next step, what you supposed to do means you take out the top of the element from the stack. Which is the top of the element on the stack? That is nothing but an H. You take out the element. So pop and display the top of the element, that is nothing but H. Okay. Then in the next step, you find out the neighbors of the H over there. Who are the neighbors of the H? After finding the neighbors of the H, you just check whether the neighbors of the any neighbors of the H already visited or already there in the stack. If already visited or already displayed or already there in the queue, no need to already there in the stack, no need to push the same neighbor once again onto the stack. Okay, so if you look at this one H here, the neighbors of H is nothing but only the E. Only the E, so that what you are doing is you suppose only E and as well the G we have. but G is already there on the stack here. Okay, G is already there on the stack, so that no need to push the G once again onto the stack. Only I needs to be pushed onto the stack. That is done. So that I visited H. This is my status of the stack after the third step here. Okay, now what you do, take out the top of the element. Which is the top of the element on the stack? That is nothing but E. You take out and display it. Okay, so take so E is the top of the element is nothing but E. Take out and display it here. Okay, I have taken E and here displayed it. Then after that I am going to find out the neighbors of E. Okay, who are the neighbors of E here? The neighbors of E is nothing but I have a D and I have a F here. D and as well the F here. D and F are not yet visited, not yet displayed, and they are not on the stack here. So that push them onto the stack. Okay, so that after pushing, I'll get the status like this. G, D, F are available on the stack. I visited the I, H, and as well the E. Okay, in the next step, what you do is take out the top of the element. Which is the top of the element? That is nothing but an F. F is displayed over there. Okay, the F is displayed over there. Now find out the neighbors of F here. So neighbors of F are nothing but H only. One H. But H is already visited over there. Okay, so that no need to push the same element again once again onto the stack. Okay, so if I push once again onto the stack, that is going to result the self looping. That will be avoided over there. Okay, so now after that, okay, my status of stack will be like this: G, comma D, I, H, E, F. This is the sequence of visiting the nodes. Okay, in this algorithm. Again, pop the top of the element, that is nothing but D. Okay, D I have taken out and I displayed the D here. Okay, I have taken out and D is displayed over there. Okay, so which are the elements which are the elements neighbor to D? Now you find out neighbor to D are nothing but G and as G only G have here, but G is already visited here. Okay, so that no need to punch again once again. Okay, but not yet visited, but G is already in the stack here, so no need to push it once again here. Again, what you do means take out in the next step you take out the top of the element from the stack here. So the G is displayed over there. Okay, now the stack is empty now. Now the stack is empty. So this is how we are going to visit the nodes in this. Okay, by using the DFS first search algorithm here. Okay, so this is the way how we are going to visit all the nodes in the given directed graph over there. Okay, so this completes the algorithm of this. Just a minute. Okay, this completes the syllabus, that is the data structures. You need to concentrate on only these two algorithms, that is nothing but the DFS and the BFS, and also you need to look at the how to represent the given graph by using the matrices and as well the list. Okay, so this is the syllabus which I supposed to complete, that is completed over there. Okay. Today I am going to wind up all the DSA classes. No further classes will be held, and if you have any doubts, you can able to reach us through the teams. If you have any doubts regarding any of the topics over there. Okay. And today the last quiz is scheduled. It will start at 10 o'clock. You need to attend all the quiz questions. Okay, if it is required, now it is still 10:30, 10 o'clock time is there. If it is required, I can able to pre-phone the quiz schedule. Would you like to pre-phone it or let it be at 10 o'clock itself?
Anything is fine.
10 o'clock, can I keep it over there only?
So can you shift it to 9:45, please?
But other should also know, no? The link, suppose if they, no, let it be there at 10 o'clock because if somebody says that earlier it was scheduled at 10 o'clock and we thought that it was 10:30, it's preponed like that. Let it be there. And if you have any doubt, you can reach us. Okay. So, and all materials are uploaded here, but whatever the materials we'll upload it into the file folders in the Teams. Just it gives only the partial information. So, but for more information, you people have to refer to the textbooks over there. Okay. You don't claim that. Okay. So that only this much is uploaded in the material is uploaded. We have prepared only this one. No, it is not like that. In the lesson planning, we have specified the reference textbooks. You supposed to follow it. Okay. Anything else there? Any doubt or any clarification do you require? If things are fine, I am going to end the meeting, and I wish you all the best for the coming end semester examination. And just I wanted to know, anybody missed the quiz 1? I am talking about not the class quizzes. Quiz 1 or the in semester assignments. Okay, you please reach me out. Okay, if anybody missed out, you just remind your friends if anybody missed out the quiz 1 and as well the in semester examination. Okay, thank you all for attending the classes, and I wish you all the best for the coming examination. Okay, hope everyone will be doing well. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.